and karibu sana to another episode of Fashion Diaries with me, your host Ashley Asachi. Now, Mr. and Miss Amputee Fashion Show is an event that is set to go down on 4th October 2024 at Hyatt Regency in Westlands. Now, this event is set to create awareness and raise funds for those who need prosthetics here in Kenya and all over the world. Now, we are going to have a conversation with Belinda, so stick around with me here on Fashion Diaries. Hi Belinda, how are you? I am fine, how are you?
I'm fine.
So Belinda here is the current face of Mr. and Miss Amputee Fashion Show, and she's also the current outreach manager here at Prothea Kenya. So stick around to this conversation as we have it with Belinda. Hi Belinda.
Hi.
Good to have you on Fashion Diaries today. Thank you for hosting us.
You're welcome.
So now we are here at Prothea Kenya. What is Prothea Kenya all about?
So Prothea Kenya is a company that deals with prosthetics and orthotics, and most of the services we offer, we do them from the home-based process where we don't need a client to come to Prothea office for them to be able to get a prosthetic or an orthotic. So what we do, we have a prosthetic on the move. This is one of our person who works here. He's always on the move. So if a client is in Migori, he goes to Migori. If a client is in Kibera, he goes in Kibera. Like you don't have a leg.
Yeah. You don't have to be here physically. That's what you mean. So that means when someone is based wherever, you can get them the prosthesis there.
Yes.
So Prothea by Ugani. Why is it by Ugani?
So Ugani is a foundation in Belgium. So Ugani did a research on amputation and how persons with amputations are in Africa in general. And they realized there is a big gap. And this is because most of them don't end up getting proper prosthetic devices. So that leads to less mobility, like them not being able to move from one place to another in a comfortable manner. So after the research was done, that is how Ugani gave birth to Prothea Kenya, now to Prothea generally, because we have Prothea Kenya, we have Prothea Congo. So Prothea is here to ensure that persons with amputation are able to bounce back to their daily life without struggling. Yeah.
And for you, Belinda, currently as we speak, you're the current face of Mr. and Miss Amputee Fashion Show, and also you are the community outreach manager at Prothea Kenya. Talk to us about your role here at Prothea Kenya.
Currently, I'm the face of Mr. and Miss Amputee Kenya, and the main reason I'm the face basically is because I was born and raised in Kibra. We all know how Kibra is with the drainage, accessibility. So for me to be able to acquire a nice, good prosthetic like the one I have, I went through hard time. I had to do more than 3 to 4 Harambes to be able to raise this money to ensure that I get a proper device. And during that process is when Prothea came in. I reached out to a few friends here and there. Then one day I met one of the people who works at Prothea. When we had a discussion, I realized that theirs was a bit affordable compared to the one I was raising money for. So I opted to come to Prothea and get a prosthetic, and it's the one I'm in now, and it's very comfortable, it's very light, and actually it's one of the things I've always slept and dreamt of, because having a good leg as an amputee is one of the things that makes us more active and more proactive to ensure that we see and include each and every activity we want in our life. The Mr. and Miss Amputee Show is there to raise awareness. First, we need to raise awareness about amputation. How many people have amputation outside there and they're not seen as persons with disability? So many. And this is because once you go through amputation, unless you sit on a wheelchair, for them to see you as a disabled person. If you have a prosthetic, then they assume like you are just like any other person who just needs maybe a crutch or something to be able to move easily. The aim is to make awareness to ensure that persons going through amputation don't lose hope in life. After amputation, you can still go back to your daily life. You can do the normal things you used to do. The only difference is maybe you can't run, or maybe you can't do heavy jobs like carrying heavy things, but mobility is going to be provided once you get a prosthetic. The other part is, this is more than a fashion show. It's a fundraiser. We have so many people who need prosthetics and they're not able to afford. Why are we doing this? We need to bring these people to their normal daily life without costing an arm and a leg. Like you don't need to be able to sell a whole piece of land to buy a prosthetic. And that is where we are coming in. The little that you have with the little that will be raised on the fashion show will conjoin together and get prosthetic for persons with amputations who are not able to raise the whole amount like the way I was, because I have friends. Think of those people who don't have friends. How are they coping? Yes.
So apart from being the face of Mr. and Miss Amputee, you're also the community outreach manager here at Prothea Kenya. Tell us about your role.
So basically my role involves talking to persons with amputation, and it doesn't limit me to amputation only. I also talk to other persons with disability, because I'm a disability champion. I advocate for rights and inclusion of persons with disability in each and every step of a community activity or even engagement. So what I do, I reach out to these people. I visit them at their homes. There are some who are not able to come out after amputation because of the trauma and the stigma that is in the community. So I take my time, I visit them, I talk to them, I walk with them a journey for them to be able to understand that amputation is not the end of life. There is life after amputation. So basically that is what I do.
You've mentioned that you grew up with quite a difficulty using prosthetics, having Harambes. Talk to us about your journey of having a prosthetic and how long have you been using one?
So personally, I got amputated at the age of 3 years. So that tells you I don't know the life of having a leg and the life of not having a leg. So I know the life of having a prosthetic. This is what I was told. At the age of 3 years, I was involved in a road accident. And in that accident, I ended up losing my leg, one of my legs. And after there, life was not easy because as a small kid, you can't interact with other kids without a limb, like without two limbs. The games they play, how they see you, it's totally different. So when I was around 5 years, I got a friend. My mom got a friend from Australia. This was the first person to get me a prosthetic leg. And it was not just a prosthetic leg, it was more than a prosthetic because it meant so much. I remember that was the first time I was able to like move in a comfortable way. In my entire life, I've never used a crutch. Like, I don't know how to use a crutch, so I've never used it. I used to hoop around with one leg until now the guy came and helped out. At the age of 7 years, I had outgrown the prosthetic that I got from the Australian guy. So I now had to change to another prosthetic. So I met another Indian person. Like, this Indian was just walking. You see the way Wahindis walk in slum areas. Then people, Mzungu, how are you, blah, blah, blah. So he got interested and he took me to Jaipur. So that is where I got my other prosthetic for some time. In the process, I met another friend who took me to the council and got me a prosthetic. But I was never able to use it. Like, I never used it literally because it was made in a bad way. Even if I put it on, it looks like I have bow legs, which is not. Like, I think the person who did it was not keen on what was supposed to be done. So after there, I went back to the Jaipur. So I've used Jaipur for quite some time. I've gone to Gateway, I've gone to Kikuyu, I've had from Australia, like I've had more than 5-6 prosthetics. But the challenge I used to have with most of them is the weight. You realize most of them are heavy, and then getting a joint that is foldable like mine. You see the way my joint can fold when I sit, it goes straight when I stand automatically without me stressing, was not easy because this joint is expensive. When I met the team at Prothea, they gave me a price that was making sense. And again, it was affordable on my end. So that is how I ended up getting a nice leg. And now I'm still limping, but not that much because my back needs some correction because of the prosthetic I was using before were not comfortable and they were just like straight. No joint, no nini, so it was straight. So that is now the process I'm in. But apart from that, I walk very well. I do other things very well. So, yeah.
You've mentioned that your previous prosthetic was not as comfortable as this one. I've seen you walk and you walk quite comfortable. How easy is it to use this as opposed to the previous one?
This one is very light. Like, I don't know. Anyway, we thank God. It's very light and it doesn't give me hard time walking. The other one, you see, it had no joint to fold. So I used to lift it straight. So I used to, when walking, I lift it straight. So that tells you my back had a tilt because now I have to lift it straight, step, then I fold this leg. So that tells you there is a discrepancy somewhere because for you to be able to balance your back, you need to be walking, folding both legs. So imagine if you're not folding one leg the whole time. And it's like 23 years I've been walking like that. So that tells you it's bad. It was bad. But now I've adjusted. And I think with time, my gait is not perfect the way I want it to be because I know how someone with a good prosthetic should walk. And I'm looking forward to at least make some changes on how I'm going to walk and how I'm going to move to ensure that I get back on the right track and save my spinal. Yeah.
For the prosthetic, does it also usually depend with where your cut is, if it's below knee or if it's beneath the knee?
Yes, it depends. For a below knee, actually they will get a socket and a small pylon and a foot. That is a below knee. And a below knee, it's easier to adjust because you have a joint. For an above knee, before we go to above knee, we have a through knee where someone is amputated in between the knees. So the upper part of the knee is there, but the downer part is not there. So for them, they also need a joint that is specifically for the through knee. If they get a bad joint, then everything goes bad. Then we have the above knee. So this is the most hectic one.
Yours is above?
Yes, mine is above knee. So this is the most hectic one. And also it depends with the stump. You can be above knee with a stump starting from here. It's going to be hard for you to at least move around with a prosthetic. But if you have a longer stump, like mine is a bit longer because mine was amputated immediately after the knee. So because of the process of healing, it shrunk a little to somewhere here. So it tells you I have a bit longer stump. So balancing in the socket, whatever I put my stump in is called a socket. So once you get a socket done, this is now a socket. So once a socket is done, it's modified for a specific person. You can't use my socket.
So if I'm amputated, I still can't use you?
Yes. Yeah, it has to be modified for you because now they take the size, they scan the size of your stump and what it needs. Yeah, so and the weight and everything. So it's basically for you. Then now we have the socket adapter. This one now connects the socket to the joint. It's called a socket adapter. Then we have the joint or the knee. It depends with how you call it. Then we have a pylon. Now the pylon is what acts like this part of the leg, this guembe part. Yes, so yeah, I think by the time we'll be going to the fashion show, I'll have Zguembe on this one also. So yes, I'm working on it. So a pylon now comes in for this part. Then we have the foot. Yeah, but now the difference comes in with the types of the foot. Mine is a single axis foot because it has another joint down there for me to be able to flex, like the way someone flex. Yeah, so mine has a...
Is there any other type apart from single foot?
Yes, there is a surge foot. Yeah, we have carbon foot. Now it depends with which one like the client is comfortable and able to use. Yes.
So for you as a community outreach manager here at Prothea, how are you able to bring resilience and hope to clients, for example, who have been using their legs all through and suddenly now they're told they need to be amputated? As a community outreach manager, how are you able to bring resilience and hope to them? Probably they were using their legs professionally as a model or other things.
So I always use myself as an example. Why do I use myself as an example? Even the Bible says very well, you cannot give me bread when you have stones. You must have that bread for you to be able to share with me. So I use myself as an example. And what I always say is if I made it, then you can also make it. The other day at the TV show, we had Diana. Diana is an amputee below knee who lost her leg in a road accident. And she was a model. Like, she was a model. Like those ladies who do makeup and... I look at her and I'm like, God, why did this happen? You get? But still there is hope. With this fashion show, we can have models annually to showcase their talents, to showcase their prosthetics, to showcase how life has been after amputation. So personally, I tell people my story. We have clients who walk in here, and most of the time they feel like they're not going to make it. Then you see when I'm seated on my desk, the whole down part is covered. So sometimes we do have conversations, we talk, then the client is like, you don't understand how it feels to lose a leg. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's sad. You see, I don't tell you I don't have a leg either.
But they can't.
Yes, so I won't tell you. So I'll just wait for you, we talk. Then when you say I don't understand, I'm like, yeah, someone cannot understand unless maybe they now lose the leg. That is when they will understand. Then I will ensure at some point before you walk in to see the prosthetic in the assessment room, I will help you with something like, hey, you need this? Then you'll be like, all along I've been talking to you and you don't have a leg either. Then I'm like, yeah, but you see, I'm fine. I'm able to talk to you. I'm able to serve you. Then you're not different. Mm-hmm. Yes. It's covered. So if a lady has such a leg that is covered like that, then I do a tie it on top and a dress. Will you know that it's a prosthetic? Yes. So no one was willing to show up because they felt maybe, I'm going to show people my leg. And it's something, disability is discriminative in its own way. First of all, disability itself is stigma. Like the moment you get disabled, you isolate yourself from the community. That is automatic. No one will tell you like, it happens because you feel, now I can't go with them. Now I can't. Like personally, when I was growing up, I used to tell myself, siku moja hata mimi nitakuja vaa jumpsuit na hii mguu. Like you see, it's a dream. I always felt like, I need to try. But how do I try it on? You get? How do I try it on? So that tells you disability itself is stigmatizing and discriminative. So when we did that call, they didn't show up. Then at some point I decided to call a few that I know. Then I was like, hey, tuko na fashion show, unaweza model? They're like, people will see my leg. Then I'm like, yeah, that is the point. No, I'm not ready for that. Then a few weeks later, we now did a call and said, are you a model? Are you a person with amputation who is willing to be a model, or you are a model? You are tall, you are short. Like we just now described like the contest, the way it's supposed to be done. Only 3 showed up. Then a few weeks down the line, we had my face going all over. Then people are like, I want to be part of this. So I felt maybe they needed a face attached to the poster for them to be comfortable. Like you see, when you see someone like you, you're like, hata mimi naweza fanya. But if it's just a call without anything, you'll be like, how will they see me? Will they be able to accommodate me? But when they saw the poster and they saw my leg and everything, they were like, they want to be part of it. Yeah.
For the models, is it for all ages, or it has an age limit for those who are actually modeling?
No, it's personally I decided to go the all ages method because disability, especially when it comes to amputation, it can get you at any age. You are 80, you have cancer, amputation comes in. You are 10, you get a road accident or cancer, amputation comes in. So we also have kids on board. And the main reason why we have these kids on board is to ensure that we give hope to other parents with kids who have gone through amputation. most of the time you realize when a kid is going through amputation, they are always alone and the parents are traumatized. How do we ensure that we don't lose these parents and we also don't lose these kids to trauma and depression? If they see another kid like them, then it means they will also feel comfortable and be fine after the process of amputation. Then we have the youth. Then we have plus size like me.
Are you modeling?
Yes, I will model basically because I'm the face. Why should I prepare a meal and not eat it? Yeah, so I feel I need to be part and parcel of the modeling team too. Yeah.
So you mentioned there's also some who have covered. Is it an option for you to choose whether you want a covered one or not? Like yours is not. So is it an option for one to choose?
Yeah, it's an option, but everyone wants to cover theirs so that people don't know they are amputees. Yeah, but for me, I feel if I don't talk about it, then who will? Yes. Yeah.
So for Mr. and Miss Amputee, will it be like any other pageantry that we've seen out there, Mr. and Miss World, Mr. and Miss County? Will it have the categories? Will it just be like any other pageantry we've seen out there?
Yes, it will be like any other. The only difference is now when it comes to award, we will have to look at how we award each and every participant, because at the end of the day, someone took their time to be there. Someone prepared their gait, like their waist. You see, as we walk with our waist is what carries our prosthesis. So someone practiced with their waist to ensure they walk on that runway in a proper way. So at the end of the day, we'll have to award them. And again, we'll be able to give prosthetic devices to those who need prosthetic. With the money that will...
The money that has been raised from the tickets, that should be a reason for you guys to actually purchase your tickets.
Yes. It's a show with a cause. Yes, a show with a cause. You come witness us work, and then at the end of it all, a few weeks from there, you'll see people that got prosthetic from their fashion show. So that tells you if you buy a ticket, you're touching a life somewhere. Yes.
Is this something that will be done annually, or it's just this year, or it's something that we'll be looking forward to be there?
That's the plan. We'll be doing it annually. The thing is, this year we are doing it in October 4th, but with time we will bring it to April, because April is Limb Loss Awareness Month. So it's something that we can even get a date in April, and we advocate for it to be internationally. Like the way we have International Wheelchair Day on 3rd March, so we can have International Limb Loss Awareness Day on a certain day in April. Then we model, we advocate, we talk about it. And we ensure everyone is aware, and we ensure that anyone who goes through amputation doesn't go through depression. Yeah. Yes.
So what is the importance of an amputee having a support system running through this journey from the time of amputation henceforth?
Actually, a support system is one of the most important things that people take for granted. Some of us say, when I'm down, I go home, I talk to my parent, I talk to my brothers, then I'm okay. With amputation, it's different. Can you imagine waking up and all your friends are gone because you've gone through amputation? They're like, we can't party anymore with you. We can't walk in the streets at night with you anymore, because now you have a condition that is totally different from the normal you that they used to know. So we have a support group. We have an amputee support group where we discuss our problems. It's a support group for anyone with amputation. Anyone can join. I'll share the link on our WhatsApp, on our Facebook page, that is Prothea Kenya. I do share, but I'll share it again, because I realized this is the only place where I can tell someone like, hey, I got blisters. Then they tell me like, you got blisters. I once had blisters, and I did this and this, and my stamp is now okay. But what if you don't have that support group? What if you have no idea? You won't be able to put on a prosthetic because you got blisters. The weather is hot. With prosthetic, it's very weird now. This is the time where if you walk in the sun with a prosthetic for long, you'll feel like as if it's coming out because you sweat.
Oh, it's like sliding.
Yes, it's like sliding. How do you handle that? So with a support group, you can ask all these questions and you'll get answers from people who have gone through that. Imagine someone in Mombasa with a prosthetic. Do you know they have that good experience? Because it's hot in Mombasa all the time. Yes. So it's very important to have a support group that helps you answer some few questions that the able-bodied people can't help with. Yes.
And behind stage, before you went on air, you mentioned that you have a background in or a profession in journalism. Have you been able to practice it, or has it been a bit difficult because of your situation?
Personally, I wanted to be a news anchor when I was in school. Like, that was my dream. At some point, I met this lady called Beatrice Marshall. I was still small, like I was 7, 8 years. It's something like being a journalist is something I started envying from the time I was a kid. So personally, I did what I wanted. You see the way people say pilot, yeah, so me, I did what I wanted. And after my graduation, it wasn't easy to get a job. I did my attachment at Kenyan News Agency in Kisumu. I also did radio production at Pamoja FM. I did TV production at KBC. And yeah, I thought, like, because I'd done it in places that are well known, at least someone can look at the documents and feel like, hey, she has gone through the process and now she's good for it, because I have a TV face, yo. Yeah, I have a TV face. Yeah, so when the first media house I approached for a job, I won't mention the name, but they looked at my disability and told me, like, if we send you for news with your leg, will you be able to come back? So that alone was a turn off, because I couldn't ask anything else. Already my disability has already pinned me down. So if you talk about it, that is like adding salt to an injury. So I decided not to go that direction. But I decided to do something else with my voice, because I know I can speak and I can pass a message in a proper way. So I decided to do advocacy, where I ensure that I talk on rights of persons with disability, maternal health, and SRHR. For maternal health, I decided to go that direction because I'm a mother. And during my pregnancy journey, I saw so many things that women with disability go through, especially when it comes to taking care of your clinical days. During delivery, it wasn't that easy. Yes, and again, I've met women who have been rejected by relatives of the man because they're disabled. So I realized, if we don't talk about this, then who will? Yeah.
I think you are the best for that position. The fact that you're vocal and you're part of the community outreach manager here at Prothea Kenya. And even as you're about to wrap up, what does this fashion show mean to the models?
To the models, I think it's something extreme. I don't know. We were here on Saturday. We came here to practice on modeling, and those people are excited. Everybody's like waiting for that day. I think it's one day that is going to ensure that they are visible, they are seen, and they are showcasing whatever they have been hiding from all the other people in the community. Yeah, do you know it's not easy for a person with amputation or a person with disability to come out and say, hey, I'm disabled. Like the way I do, it's not easy. It takes too much. Yes. Yeah, so for them, it's this is one show they are looking forward to. And again, most of them are looking forward to changing the narrative when it comes to amputation.
Nice. I hope this is something that we'll be having annually, as you said, in April. Yeah. This is something we'll be looking forward to, and even the models will be looking forward to. So conclude by telling us, and looking at that camera, by telling us where the event will be, when, and how we can purchase tickets to make this a success.
So the event will be on 4th October at Hyatt Regency, that is in Westlands. And the tickets are bought online at mticket. Just go to mticket and you'll see we are actually on the top upcoming event, Mr. and Miss Amputee Kenya. And one main reason why you should purchase that ticket, if you have ever been thinking of touching a life or changing someone's life somewhere, this is the right time to do it. Buy your ticket. Come see us model. In fact, I'll be putting on a mini skirt. So come see me in a mini skirt, yo. Yes, and I know you'll enjoy. Apart from the mini skirt, we'll have conversations. We'll talk around amputation. We'll interact. We'll network. We'll make friends. Yeah, don't miss this. Yeah.
And you mentioned there's also a call number for our support system. You can also mention that, as well as give the social media platforms for Prothea Kenya.
So our social media platform is Prothea Kenya. That is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we are working on coming up with a TikTok account, because we need to dance there. We need to show you we need to show you. Then we have our office number, which I think we'll share below the screen to ensure that everyone is able to get the number properly. Anytime you call, just ask for Belinda, you'll get help.
And it's just right that you get your tickets for the Mr. and Miss Amputee Fashion Show happening on 4th October at Hyatt Regency in Westlands, to make this a success, to create awareness, and to also raise funds for those who need prosthesis. Thank you so much, Belinda, for having this with us. Thank you for watching and making this, and I hope to see you Pale 4th Hyatt Regency, Westlands. Thank you. My name is Ashley Asachi. See you on another episode of Fashion Diaries.